Hey guys, Jess with Wreath. Thanks for coming back. We're gonna work on the second bee wreath now. We just finished our other one, the one with the big bow, and you can go check out that video. This one is gonna be the bee wreath incorporating this adorable sign that says Home Sweet Home with the bees on it and the sunflowers and that little Nomi, of course. That little cute face, who could say no to that, right? So here we go. So as you guys learned when you watched this other video that showed how I put the mesh on here, we have 12 ties on the outside, 6 on the inside. About 2 are going to be filled with our bow that we made in the other video as well. So we have these little cutesies. I did this black and white, this bee ribbon, the sunflowers to match the sunflowers and the sign, and then that purple and white stripe. So let's get started. So what we're gonna do is every other one, we're gonna put this black and white and then this bee ribbon. So we're gonna put these 2 together here. We're gonna fold them in half like this. And then you're gonna open it back up. You're gonna gather them together. Since this is wired ribbon, you can kind of fluff it like this, make it look a little bit like a bird, I guess, and then stick it in one of the ties. You don't have to open the ties. We cut them when we first put them on so that there's a little bit less length in there. You tie the ribbons in there, twist the tie about 2 times, open the ribbons up so that you can see both designs, and then you're good to go to move on to the next one. This one we're gonna put our bee, and then we're gonna put our sunflowers behind it. The bee is a 1.5 inch, the sunflowers is a 2.5 inch length, I should say width. The length is between 12 and 13 inches. Just like we did with the other one. We're gonna put those together. We're gonna go to our next tie. This one is in the purple mesh. We're going to tie it tightly in there. Twice, I take the pipe cleaner, tuck it underneath the ribbon. You don't have to mess with your ribbon too much because before you take your pictures and get it ready to post, you'll fix the ribbons at that time. So if you sit here and just, mess with the ribbons over and over and over again, you could end up making them maybe fray potentially. We don't want that. So plus we don't want to waste that time. You want to use your time, just like in anything else in life, you want to use it as wisely as possible. So we put our ribbon bundle, twist the pipe cleaner twice, and go like that and move on to the next one. So we're gonna finish up all these bottom ones, move on to the top, add our sign in. We might actually add our sign in before we put the top ribbons in. We'll see. We'll see how it happens when we get there. That's one of the things that I liked about making wreaths, is that there's no set rules. There's no exact right way to do it. There's no exact wrong way to do it. There's lots of different techniques. Just kind of figure out what works best for you, what's most pleasing to your eye, I should say. So just like we did before, straighten them out a little bit, find your tie, place it down in there, twist it twice. Have you guys been watching all these different steps? As a mom, I never sit down and make a wreath all at one time in one sitting. My oldest is in school full-time. I am a stay-at-home mom, but my youngest is not in school full-time yet. So I get to spend my days with him. Most of my days anyways. Partial days, I guess I should say. Partial days, all days. And so when we're together, he doesn't want to sit down here and watch me make a wreath like you guys do, right? We're playing, we're outside, we're doing all the fun things. So there we go. So now we're going to take this one, just like we did in the past one. Take this. And it really helps out in the YouTube algorithm. It shows YouTube that you guys are liking what I'm putting out. If you guys will subscribe or like, or even like comment in the comment section. You don't have to leave any type of long comment if you don't want to. Maybe let me know if these videos are helping you out, if they're inspiring you to try to make your own wreath, if you're just here to see me make a wreath that you would like to purchase from my Etsy shop already made. That definitely is a possibility. I do sell my wreaths online through Etsy, which is like it's a handmade seller's platform. And then I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest too. So you can find me all the places. And it's all under my same name as here on YouTube, Peekaboo Wreaths. So we're gonna add those on. Gather it. Twist it like that. Put it down. Put it down in that pipe cleaner. Twist it so it's nice and tight, not flopping around. I've done these so many times. I've made at least 500 wreaths, probably closer to 600, which is a lot and kind of crazy to think about. But I have been doing this for about 6 or 7 years now, and I love it. I love all the people that I meet through it. I love creating, incorporating the different textures and patterns, finding out what I like, how to improve, get better every time. Practice does not make perfect, but I always say practice makes progress. What is perfect anyways, right? Perfect is just an opinion, right? We all do our best. We all try to be the best versions of ourselves. And that is what we can do. Just try to do better each and every day. So we're sticking this in here. Twist, twist. Tuck that under there. Straighten out our ribbons one time. Okay, this is the last one for the bottom. Fold it, open it back up, gather it along that fold so that both sides are pretty even. If you have to trim one side, you can, but as long as it's mostly in the middle, you should be good to go. It doesn't have to be perfect. And after we add all our florals and other details in there, it won't be as obvious if it is a little bit not equal. Okay, so when we attached our mesh, I folded down the ribbons, the pipe cleaners for that I'm going to put my bow. So I have one folded down already. I'm going to fold this one down while I'm thinking about it. And then we're going to attach our sign before we add our ribbons in this time. So we're going to do that. We have our, I'm going to set this aside now, just for a moment, so we can attach our pipe cleaners to our sign. So again, here's my sign here, Home Sweet Home with little gnomies and the sunflowers and the cutesy little bumblebees. I'm going to flip it over. One of our other videos shows how I attached these cable mounts with super glue. They're on there nice and sturdy now. You can put a bead of hot glue around there if you wanted to. I'm actually going to step off camera and do that. I'm going to use one of the stems from one of my florals. Throw a little bit of hot glue on there real quick before I attach my pipe cleaners. Just for a little bit of peace of mind here. Are you guys kids off school yet? You guys grandkids that are off school? I can't believe this year flew by. I feel like January took like 7 years to pass, and then it was all flying by from there. All right, so like I said, I was gonna stick a little bit of hot glue around the edges, clean up some of those strings. All right. We're nice and good. We got a little bit of hot glue on this side. Let's see if we can scrape it off. If not, we'll do our best, or wait for it to dry and then get it off. So there we go. I do use a glue pot. what that is. It's pretty much, it's like a big, it's kind of like a skillet that you would use to warm food, but it is for hot glue. So here we go. We got our squares all ready to go. I'm gonna grab some pipe cleaners. Right here we used yellow on our project, and I'm actually gonna use yellow pipe cleaners so we can be all matchy-matchy. So I'm just gonna take 2. I am going to cut them in half. We're going to use our wire cutters, not our scissors. Every time I make that choice to use wire cutters and not scissors, it always reminds me of like when you're little and your mom would say, don't use my nice scissors to cut paper or for your crafts, or that's not how my mom sounds, by the way. I don't know why I did that voice, but it just reminds me of that when you're a kid and you want to use your mom's scissors because they're closest by. She tells you not to. Maybe you might sneak and still do it even though you're not supposed to. Somehow she always found out, which is actually, it's pretty funny because once you become an adult and you have your own kids, you're like, oh, now I see why my mom was able to figure that all out. Because it's pretty obvious when kids are not telling the truth. Not that my kids ever do that. Okay, so we have our pipe cleaners right here. We have our 1, 2, 3, 4. We have our 2 that we're gonna put our bow. I'm gonna put the bow on the bottom of the wreath this time. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to take these pipe cleaners and I am going to attach them to the wreath frame. This is one of the hardest parts for me, is attaching the signs, because I always, I try to get them even, because, you know, you want your sign to be even, but sometimes it's a little tricky for me. So I attach them and then I hang it up and I get a good look from afar and try to figure out if it's even or not. So what we normally do is I will attach the 4 corners. So we're gonna do this one, we're gonna do this one down here. So let's see, we don't wanna do it too close to the bottom because we wanna make sure that our bow has room to shine in all its glory without covering up any of the adorable details on this wreath sign. That little gnome and the bees and all the good things. All right, so we got those. We're gonna put this one down now. Let's see, put it right here. Stick that through. Sorry if some of this is off camera, but all I'm doing is I'm twisting the pipe cleaner around the back of the wreath frame, so it's nice and sturdy and secure. It's not gonna go anywhere. Some people glue their signs on. It makes me a little bit nervous because a lot of times the signs are heavier than the mesh is able to hold up, and you wouldn't want to run into a situation where your sign is sagging. All right, so this looks pretty straight to me. You can always pull some of the mesh here up a little bit, pull it out so that you can see it, and then we're gonna put our bow right in the middle here when we're ready to go. All right, so let's finish putting our mesh on the top. So we're gonna look through, we're gonna find where our pipe cleaners are. On the top here, I'm gonna take my bee ribbon and this purple, do just like what we did on the outside where we fold it in half, open it up, fix it a little bit, and then put it down in that pipe cleaner. There we go, twist it 2 times, put it down in there, open them up, spread them out a little bit so you can see all the pretty colors. Okay, our next one is going to be up here. What's nice about these metal signs, even though I know that they're a little bit reflective, this one I'm going to put the purple on the outside, or on the top I should say, is that you don't have to worry about them like warping, or like if you have this wreath somewhere in a climate that might be a little bit more humid in the summertime, you don't have to think about, you know, if it's gonna get wet or if it's gonna get like a little humid or what's gonna happen with that. So there you go. Okay, let's find our next ribbon bundle. It's all the way under here. All right. Stretch stitch. Okay, let's find this one. This one is gonna be with the Nomi on the, or the bees on the top. Not the Nomi on the top. Although that would be adorable to have gnome ribbon with little sunflowers. That would be cute. It's an idea for another time for sure. They make ribbon with like just about anything on there. All these creatives they love, just like me. I like to match. That's why I put, you know, the sunflowers in some of the ribbons, and I put this with the bee wreath because it does have bees on the sign, but it doesn't have to be super matchy. It can be a little bit different here and there. Our last ribbon bundle is down here. What you can always do is you can always, you know, adjust it a little bit, move it around a little bit. Okay, so this one's gonna have the purple stripe on top. We're gonna add our bow in, and then we're gonna add our florals in our last step, and probably the next video. So I'm gonna hang this up and make sure that I like the placement, how everything's looking before we add our florals in. I haven't decided if I'm just gonna do purple and yellow florals this time, or how exactly we're gonna do it, but either way, I'm sure it'll be so pretty. So here we go. We have these up here. We're gonna bring in our bow that we used last time. All right, let me grab my bow that we made last time. This one right here. Remember we made that right there? All right, so we wanna make sure that the bow isn't covering up too much of our sign. So we're gonna stick it down here in the middle, right here. I'm gonna flip this over. Stick it on through, and then next time we see each other, we're going to add on our florals, and then we will be done. So here we go. That's gonna go like that. Just gonna flip it over, twist it around the back, and then we're good to go. So here we go. We are done with our bow, our sign, our ribbons. Next time we see each other, we will add the florals in. We'll be good to go. Thanks so much. See you next time. Bye-bye.